We're going to start right away. And we actually decided that we were going to be organized this time.
Hopefully.
So the things that you saw in the title are the things we're actually going to talk about. And we're going to try not to ramble off on story time unless you guys send us on story time, because then we will talk. So let's get into it.
Okay. So we're going to start off with what we did in the apiary this week. And we did a little bit of moving around of some things. One of our hives had a lot of swarm cells, and instead of leaving them in, instead of leaving all of them in, I should say it that way, instead of leaving all of them in, we decided to pull out our queen castle and make use of it. And I think we talked about it in one of the other videos.
We did, but just to recap, the queen castle we got at a queen rearing session that we went to, and they were selling some equipment for the University of North Carolina Bee Laboratory.
North Carolina State University.
Yeah, North Carolina State University. I don't know what I said. But we bought that, and the money got donated to the Bee Laboratory so they can make or build a new one. And we got to use it for our second time ever.
Yeah.
Super happy about that.
So the way that the queen castle is made up, it's separated into 4 different sections. So it's essentially the size of 10 frame hive, but it's got dividers to separate it into 4 sections that house 2 frames each. Okay, so it'll only hold 8 frames in that basically 10 frame box, but that's because they're split up. So you can have 4 basically different colonies, super tiny miniature colonies, right? Because they're only 2 frames. But we use that to hopefully, potentially, make some more bees.
So what you do is you take the frame that you have your swarm cell on, and you move it over to the queen castle. So that's one, right? But your second frame is important, because what you want to try and get on there is if you can get capped brood and a ton of resources. And then what you're going to do is you're going to stick that in there, and you'll take another frame that has nurse bees on it. And you know they're nurse bees because there's open cells of eggs and larvae. And then you're just going to walk it over, and then give it a thwap on the top.
Or a quick shake.
Yeah, the shake tends to make them fly around a bunch. If you just do, like, turn it on its side and just hit the top real quick, they'll just fall straight down and they'll stay in there. So you give them the 2 frames, and then you just give them another frame of bees, and that will ensure that when that queen comes out, she has time to go get mated. She can come back and there's still bees in the hive, and they got resources and everything else, and they'll be able to make nurse bees. Take care of the new stuff that the queen's laying. The only caveat to having that queen castle with the 2 frames in there is that you really have to watch it. Once that queen emerges, you got about 5 days before she really goes out and gets mated. I mean, anywhere between like 3 to 5. She'll go out, she'll get mated, and then you got to give her another couple of days to come in and start laying. And then at that point, once she lays everything, don't go 3-4 weeks without doing anything with them, because then you only have 2 frames, right? So they all emerge, and then you're just bubbling with bees like a cauldron boiling. And at that point, you need to either expand or start moving around things.
Yeah, because their house is too small at that point, so they're either going to want to swarm or they're just going to abscond.
Yep.
So.
And you may not even see them swarm at that point, because you got 2 frames of bees. They're going to spread out a lot, and then when they cluster up on a limb as a hitching post, it's going to be about softball size. They're not going to be super big.
Not huge, yeah. But we did take some frames from one of our hives, the St. Patrick Hive, that had swarm cells in it. We left, of course, a couple for them, so they will have a queen. But then we took 4 frames. They each had 1 or 2 queen cells, and moved them into that queen castle, and then gave them a frame of either eggs or larvae or capped brood, plus resources, of course. And we're gonna just keep monitoring them and see how they do, and hopefully we'll have essentially potentially 4 new hives that we'll then have to figure out what we're gonna do with.
Which is fine.
I mean, it's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah, having more bees in some cases is better than others. Had we just done a traditional split earlier on, we would have lost 8 frames of bees versus the 4 frames that we did. Well, depending on who you ask, 4 frames, because I did knock some bees in each compartment, right? So we did lose bees, but when I'm talking about losing bees, I'm talking about the ones that are under the cap cells, because they're the ones that are coming out next, and there's more space, you know, in those cap cells than there are sitting on the hive face, I guess. So when you see a bunch of bees on your hive face, but then there's a bunch of cap cells under that, you're not really doubling that amount of bees, you're almost tripling. So, yeah. I'd rather
that way, but yeah, that's
yeah, because
100%
they're like,
right.
if you think of what are those, the Nutcracker men, the ones that, or the guys in England that guard
the guards, the
the
Buckingham
castle.
Palace guards.
Yeah, they're standing straight up, right? And so that's what the bees are doing under the caps.
Right.
But when you have your bees walking across the face of the caps, like, they can cover 1.5, 2 cappings alone.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then you
know.
have bees that are like standing on top of each other too.
Mhm.
So it's a little crazy. But yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. But speaking of having maybe a few too many bees,
Mhm.
which again, not a bad problem to have. We went to our local association meeting this past week, and while we were there, one of the couples that were sitting at the table or at the same table as us asked us if we had any extra bees that we might want to part with.
Yeah, so we're sitting at like 20 something hives. We've done very well in preventing swarming, except for from our Warray, and that's because we knew that was going to happen. We left it alone, but we have lots of hives still, even with preventing a swarming. So we're going to sell a couple to these folks and let them try the little rascals out and see what they think. You know, I think they plan on buying 2 when they come over and look. We'll see if they still want to do that. But if we get into the hives, I'm not going to use smoke like I normally do. I'll let them smoke up if they want, but I'm just going to show them how I can get in there, no smoke, how the bees will act, how they go after Lisa.
I was going to say, maybe I should step away then.
Yeah.
Because they seem so much nicer when I'm not around.
I don't know what the deal is. Like, they go after you and they leave me alone.
I wonder if it's my body wash at this point, because it's not like super smelly, but I don't wear perfume whenever I know I'm going in the hives. And I make, it sounds gross, but I don't wash my hair that day because I know my shampoo's super smelly. So the only thing I can think of that's left is my body wash.
Or fear.
It's not fear.
It's
okay. I'm not afraid of bees. I may be allergic, but I'm still not afraid of them. But anyway.
But yeah, we're going to sell a couple of those to Mr. Mark. See
Yes.
how he likes them.
Yes.
And then he's got a buddy too that might want some. And then I got my mentee, Mr. Charles, is thinking about coming by and picking up a nuke from us. So if he wants it, he can have it. That just helps us clear out some of the bees because, like, again, we got too many.
And we want to keep it capped at no more than 20 hives, that's kind of the struggle that we're dealing with at this point, which, again, not complaining. It's just one of those things. Yep. Let me see what else. We caught another swarm. We did catch another swarm. And so we have now, the Avengers. The Avengers hive. So we name all of our hives. I don't know if you guys that are watching have been following us or have checked out our website, because I do talk about the different names of hives whenever we write down notes. It makes it a little bit easier. We actually do, what's her name? The Five Apple Farms.
Leah.
The one that's Leah. Thank you. So Leah from Five Apple Farms, that's a podcast that we listen to. She was talking about taking notes, and that was something that clicked, that we do, that she does also, is that we don't necessarily label the hives. relabel the hive placement. But we needed a new place, so we have a new placement with a new name, which is the Avengers. Anyway, let me see what else. Oh, okay. So we did some extraction last week, right? We pulled a couple frames and extracted some honey. So this week I processed that wax down, the cappings and everything, and made candles. Have some more wax, so for future use, whether I need to make more lip balm maybe, or maybe I'll try making that lotion this year.
And
we'll see.
and we did record that, so I'm working on the video. Lisa had to record it by herself, so
Hi, welcome.
hi, Mr. Ronald. So Lisa had to record it by herself, so
it's terrible. I'm gonna apologize now because
no, don't apologize. I'll do some magic and we'll smooth it out.
Mike will do his editing magic because it was literally just me with my camera in the shed, and I'm like trying to film myself, and I'm sure they are not flattering angles. I'm just saying, but
I like them.
But the point is, it's so you can see like really how the process works, and it is time consuming for sure.
Yeah, because you did 2 frames, and I think the video actually went for like 45 minutes to an hour, but when I reduce it down, it's going to be like 8 minutes.
It honestly probably took longer than that. But I mean, I had to set up the cameras and the lights and all of that stuff too. But and pull out all the equipment. Yeah, that was fun though. So I did that while he was at work, and now he has more work to do.
It's okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I processed the wax, so that'll be part of it, I believe, also, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even the candle making. Well, no, candle making was a previous video.
2 weeks
yeah,
ago.
that's right. But I did make some more. But yeah, I think I might try some lotion this year, because I've made lip balm in the past and people really like it. I really like it. Similar to Burt's Bees lip balm, if you're familiar with that and you like those.
Burt's Bees is pretty much everywhere. So.
Yeah, it's pretty national at this point, but
In the U.S.,
in the U.S. That's what's international. Anyway.
We also released the 13 beekeeping hacks.
Yes.
So hopefully you guys got a chance to watch that.
On Saturday. If you did, let us know. We'd love to hear what you guys think about it.
Or if you thought it was terrible, or just a crock,
we can handle it.
I will let you know that we do use all of those things in our apiary. So it's not something where it's like, these are cool ideas, we'll just make a video. No, it's stuff that we've actually been doing. And I mean, yeah, I like it.
I do too.
So we keep going.
Yeah. Granted, I don't use the gloves, but
The orange gloves, but I do.
Yeah,
I do. I really like them. I never get stung unless I put pressure on bees, and then they get a little rowdy.
Yeah, that's okay. So because I extracted the honey last week, I had to label it. So that's something that I've gotten some questions about, so I wanted to talk a little bit about that also. You do need to weigh your honey, because honey is sold by weight and labeled by weight, not by
In the U.S.
in the U.S. Sorry, I'm specifically talking about in the U.S. But it's sold by weight and not by liquid volume.
You really want to confuse a U.S. person? Put the kg on there. Kilograms. I thought about doing it down here at our farm market just for people to be like, what's a kg?
So it's funny that he mentions that, though, because the I wrote it down, Federal Fair Packaging and Labeling Act, okay, is actually a CFR, Code of Federal Regulations, that states what you must put on your label. So there's only 3 things that the federal government says, again, federal government in the United States says that you have to put on your label, okay? The name of the product, the name of the manufacturer or producer, and that's us.
Yeah.
And the weight. The weight has to be in ounces and in grams. Both. Not just one, both. Okay. So
you would put the kg. You could do that.
and well,
This is
I mean,
grams.
if you have enough, I guess.
Kilograms? Thousands?
You're gonna put
of
like
grams?
0.00 whatever kilograms, or I don't know the
I
conversion.
just want to mess with you.
I mean, I know I should, but yeah. That'd be so weird. Anyway, so ounces and grams, okay? Those are the three federal regulations. But in North Carolina, which market? Oh, you do live close to us? That's awesome.
Ooh.
We sell our honey to the Moyoc Farm Market
Put that back
and
there.
also to Booney's Beer and Wine Market. And if you're familiar with Moyoc, since you live close to us, it is near the Food Lion.
It's across from the Duck Fruit gas station.
Well, the farm market is.
The farm market
The
is,
farm market
yeah.
is.
Oh, and Booney's is, yeah, next to Mr. Lee's. Free advertisement, y'all.
Oh yeah, sorry. So in North Carolina, the regulations are a little bit more, nothing crazy, but the 1984 Memorandum of Understanding between the North Carolina Food and Drug and North Carolina Department of Agriculture Plant Industry Division. Sorry, I have to look down. I'm looking at it so I don't forget the name of it. So you have to put the name, right, just like with federal. You'll have to put the street address with city, state, and zip code, which we do not have our street address listed on our honey label. I didn't realize that North Carolina wanted to do
But that's
that.
okay.
I
You got a
probably
cricket.
did.
We'll just change it.
We could. We could. And then you can, but you don't have to include your main source of honey. So like if you do have sourwood honey or what's some of the other big ones?
Sage honey,
Sage, lavender,
buckwheat.
orange blossom, anything like that. You can label those.
Oh, I was just
but-
thinking around here, but yeah,
Oh,
throughout
fair.
the U.S.
I was just thinking in general. So you can put that on there, but it's not required. The name honey has to be the prominent feature of the label.
It's gotta be big font.
It's got to be huge. Like, well, not huge, but like it's got to be the main thing for sure. And then the weight in ounces of gram has to be in the lower 30% of the label. So the bottom of the label. You live off
No.
Pudding Ridge? Are you serious?
Which Pudding Ridge?
That's crazy.
That would be our neighbors.
That'd be.
Whoops.
Do you also have bees already? Because we. Wow. Okay.
Yes, you have bees, or yes, you are our neighbors.
Yeah.
Probably.
We've kind of scouted the area a little
Yeah.
bit, so we know some of the places where there's bees. We don't necessarily know
Mhm.
the beekeepers there. So.
We know some of them.
But
We
we definitely know some of them. Yeah.
You might even meet us at the BOA.
The
Beekeepers
Beekeepers
of
of
the
the Albemarle, for those of you who aren't familiar with where we live, not yet. Okay, awesome.
Sure.
Definitely, we can definitely do that.
Get
That's
some
exciting. Or some beef.
We could, yeah, we could have meat.
Okay. Also, North Carolina suggests putting a disclaimer on your honey as well. It's not like you have to do it, but they suggest it, that you do not feed honey to infants under 1 year of age. And the reason behind that is there is risk of botulism in honey. It's not extreme, but it is there. So infants are more susceptible to getting sick from it. Yeah, that's exciting. Okay.
So,
I know that's kind of
all
super
of that,
educational. Kind of
all of that
everything,
has to be on the main label, the front label.
Yes.
You can't like spread that out between the front and the back.
but yeah,
I am currently in Greece. On
Oh,
travel.
wow.
Ooh,
that's
reach
fun.
out.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll be
Either-
around.
Either way, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and then YouTube, of course. So just hit us up with a comment or.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Hey, is this our Ohio folks?
I think so.
I think so. I'm
Bees
getting
and
better at this.
chickens. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Right.
we'll be more than happy to talk to you in person. over the digital internets or whatever you want to do. If you want to come to a BOA meeting, we'll talk to you there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's smarter people than us there.
Yes, true story.
There's a couple of people that don't think that's true, but there are.
Yeah, and lots of people that have been keeping bees for even longer than us, a lot longer than us even, really. Because in the grand scheme of things, we haven't been keeping bees all that long.
It's kind of harder to engage those folks though, just because they've been doing it so long. May 18th is our next meeting in Elizabeth City. Yep. But it's harder to engage those folks sometimes because they've gotten down to that kind of criticism sort of thing. They're like, you're gonna oh man, taking me back to work.
Well, it says infantry CTO too.
Yeah, I was kind of reading that. And,
yeah.
But anyway, they're kind of harder to approach because they want to talk to people that have been beekeeping 4 or 5 years, not the new people. But we like to go the opposite direction. We'll talk to you. I mean, we've been doing it, and I feel like we're successful enough to where if you're in our area and want to do the same thing, and I will go with the caveat that a block or two down the road, you might be in a different situation, but you just got to adapt a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, like you said, even within our own apiary, there's some hives that they're just different. So it's always just like a little bit off. But yeah, we just work with it and move on.
And beekeeping's fun because everything's opinion.
Oh yeah.
You know, like
that's the big saying that everybody says at all of the beekeeping meetings. Even at the state convention they said it.
Mm-hmm.
Where it was like, you ask 10 beekeepers one question, you get 12 different answers.
Yeah.
Like
that's true, but there's a point where you get
oh no.
Oh, it's scratchy.
Okay.
Let's unplug it.
I'm glad you said that because we got a new mic. We're trying it out. Thank you, Swarmstead. We do appreciate that. Hopefully that's better. You'll have to let us know if that's better or not.
Yeah. Well, we'll see in a minute.
Yeah.
If he goes, no, plug it back in. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I think you get to a point where you start to understand like what's going on in your own apiary.
Oh, thank you. That's awesome.
Okay, so we won't use that anymore. That
Yeah.
sucks. But okay. So you start to understand your apiary and like your bees that are in full sun do one thing, your bees that are under a tree do a different thing or have different problems. So that's one of the things I noticed about ours. In full sun, they don't produce as much propolis, but under a tree, they produce twice as much because they're dealing with ants and earwigs and spiders. And so they're trying to trap everything out and they're just propolizing everything. So if that's one of your goals without using a propolis trap, then that might be something worth looking into. But then you got ants and cockroaches
or even with a propolis trap. That might work even better.
Yeah.
We haven't done that.
No.
I'll caveat there. We have not used a propolis trap.
It's in the cards for the future, but not a trap, but like doing more propolis sort of stuff.
Yes.
We've realized really this year that we've been scraping a bunch of it and we've just been kind of putting it back in the hive instead of putting it in a jar and saving it. Unlike wax we take off all day.
That sounds awful, but
well, they always have like little, like less than the size of a dime.
Yeah,
and we're just constantly collecting. So it's like putting pennies in a piggy bank.
That's true. That's true. Eventually it will add up, and and people. So here I'm gonna go off on a little bit of a tangent. I'm sorry, but because I have been melting down wax and processing it and getting it cleaned up and stuff like that. So there's a lot of people that tell you that you can't process brood comb, like when you're culling old comb. I do anyway. Yeah. Because you may not get a lot of wax from them. That's true. You won't. But you still get some.
And your house smells weird after that. It doesn't smell like your
what? No. How was it?
That's something that they do over in the Philippines.
I think. We watched, I can't remember what it was now, but we watched something that was talking about eating during brood and how it tastes like coconuts. Do you remember that?
I remember, I want to say it was Ken Floatum that said if you eat one, pop it in your mouth, then it tastes like...
Oh. Okay.
Hey, post that video in the comments. We will watch it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, oh, we thought it was.
We
Tastes
thought
like coconut?
It's no. They said
Oh.
we thought it was us.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
My bad.
Uh,
We bought a new mic because we were going to test it out on this.
Yeah.
Because our beekeeping club wants to do Zoom calls. They are opposed to internet.
Technically, not all there.
Yeah.
Like,
well, no, they're all
well,
there.
I mean, they're all there, but they're not technically proficient, like even a little bit.
Yeah. So we're gonna try. We're just gonna use my phone and try and do a Zoom call. But I wanted to see if the mic looked good. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for the feedback.
Yeah, we appreciate it. I'm
Mhm.
sorry. We want to make sure you guys can hear us because that's the whole point of this. But let me see what else. Yeah, the brood comb, you won't get a ton of wax, but you do get some, and the bees work really, really hard to make the wax.
So now I'm wondering, like, should we grill up some brood comb and then top it with some honey and eat it that way?
Yeah. So what? I'm super curious now. What did it actually taste like? Because I'm all for tasting some new stuff.
And you're not like growing new appendages, right? Like...
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We'll
we'll fix that in the future.
And if you, well, I was gonna say if they email us, well, I guess we could just look up the link and post it in the comments, maybe.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Is there? Yeah. If you throw it in the chat, though, we'll get that. Oh, because it's a link.
Because it's a link. They can't.
Never mind. I did that early on because there was folks that were
tender steak. Interesting.
Posting their sexy websites, if you know what I mean.
Oh.
So I blocked all the links.
Yeah. Fair.
It happens.
Yeah. Let me see. Oh, okay. EpiPen. I know. I'm not with the fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm just all informational, and
No,
he's the fun guy.
No,
But
just do it.
so, I am allergic to bees. I know, crazy because I'm a beekeeper, but I didn't realize it until I think 2 years in.
Oh, yeah. So she got stung maybe 6 times on her dark jeans, and while we were beekeeping, hey, you wear your beekeeping jacket,
Yeah.
you got your veil on, you got long pants on, and then they're still dark,
Yeah.
and she got stung 6. Maybe there was more, but we pulled out 6 stingers.
Yeah.
And we started beekeeping again, and she goes, "Yeah, I don't feel good. I don't feel good." And then she's like, "What was it?"
My lips felt weird. It was, my lips were like tingly, like it's like they felt when I drink too much.
No.
Like it was just kind of weird. And then I started having a hard time breathing, and I was really dizzy, and my heart was racing. And then I was like, I think I need to just go sit down for a minute. And then
I just we gave her the EpiPen. I took her to the hospital because that's what they say to do.
Mm-hmm.
Use the EpiPen properly. Take them to the hospital. Well, instead of calling like an ambulance, I put her in my car, and then I drove like a teenager down to the hospital. Like, teenager that has never gotten a ticket ever and is willing to get one today.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we sat there in the ER for a long time, which really confused me. I was like, why did I rush here if we were just going to sit there?
I don't remember a lot of it. I just remember them going, "What happened?" And then them looking at me, and I guess I was covered in like hives or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was super red. I don't know. And I was just like, "Yeah, I got stung by some bees." Did you have your bee say something? I don't think I did.
No.
I don't
Took it off.
Yeah, I think I had to take it off because I was having a hard time breathing. So like things being around my face, even though it's a vent, like it's screen,
Mm-hmm.
like
No, we were walking inside and unzipped them and just threw them off, and they laid on the deck outside for a while.
And that's before I got my suit. This is only when I had a jacket. So since then, obviously, I have upgraded my attire, and I got this fancy new suit. So I'm covered head to toe, and I used to beekeep barehanded. We both did. And then obviously since then I've started wearing heavier gloves again.
So her new suit, the Ultra Breeze, we actually have a link for it in the comments or in the description if you want to take a look at it.
Love it.
It's good.
It's
I mean,
awesome.
if it wasn't climbing into a full suit, I'd probably buy it. In fact, if it gets to the middle of summer and I want to start beekeeping with nothing on except for a suit on, I'll probably get one. But we only really stopped. Well, I only stopped beekeeping without gloves on because the propolis would get on my fingers, and then my fingers start turning orange. Or we have a gray propolis out here, depending which hive you're in. It's gray, and my fingers started to look like I was wasting away.
Well, and then you get it on your phone and stuff too.
Well, I still get it on my phone anyway because
true.
So if you ever do this for YouTube and you decide, hey, I'm gonna start pulling out my phone and taking pictures while somebody's holding the thing, the frame, like realize you're allergic to propolis. Oh man, you're in the wrong business. Like wear all the gloves.
Oh man.
But I get propolis all over my phone, and I got to use Lysol wipe really to get it off if it gets bad.
Yeah. So I'm curious now because obviously I know what being allergic to bees is because it's anaphylactic shock, right? What kind of reaction do you have to propolis? Is it just like a rash or something that?
Yeah.
So I haven't heard of that. I mean, I'm sure it's a thing.
We're gonna have to see what it says and look that up too, because Swarmstead, Northern PA, just above Philly. That's right.
He's just trying to show off now.
I'm trying to remember everybody. So if you tell me where you're from and you're a repeat customer, I'm gonna start remembering you.
Anyway, so I did go get my EpiPen refilled this past week, and anywhere just oh goodness, skin splits and peels off. That sounds terrible.
Sounds like an acid drip. Like,
yeah. Yikes.
Nope. Wear gloves.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I got my EpiPen refilled, and I want to make sure that all of you know, if you keep bees, please talk to your doctor to get an EpiPen or some other type of epinephrine form. Because while you may not be allergic, or maybe you are and you haven't been stung multiple times, so you don't know that you actually are, because that's what happened to me. But you probably have friends and neighbors that come over, and while they may not be getting into the hives with you, maybe you have a hive that's a little more antsy because it's dearth or something like that, and they might be allergic. So having an EpiPen at your apiary, even if you only have one hive, highly, highly, highly recommend. Can't recommend that enough. And most doctors are more than happy to write a prescription for you if you just let them know that you're a beekeeper. So
the once a year checkup, go in there and say, hey, don't do it to your eye doctor. He's not going to do anything for you.
And that's something I will say, that's something that our Beekeeping Association does. Is at least once a year we have a local allergist that comes in, and she will write prescriptions for everybody that wants one for an epinephrine.
So if you're part of a beekeeping association, just suggest that to whoever's in charge. Like, hey, this year we'd like to have somebody come in and talk about how to use an EpiPen. Because what she does is she comes in and she'll have a bunch of trainers, EpiPen trainers, not like people, but and they'll pass them around, and they'll be from different manufacturers, and you can actually practice it. And there's one that talks to you. So the EpiPen, ABQ. Yep. So that one will say, pull tab, and you pull it out, and then it says, okay, now press it against thigh and hit button, and then it'll say, wait 3 seconds, and it goes 1, 2, 3, and you take it off. The ones we got just look like little toys. You just
they're not toys. Their needle is like this long. It's
the trainers.
The trainers do. That's true. The trainers don't have needles. But it is good. It is good practice. And when we go talk to schools and whatnot, when we have our observation hive and all of our equipment and things to show off and teach kids about bees, we do take our EpiPen trainers so they can see. That's part of it. Yeah. So just in case.
And we've only in 5 years we've only had to use it once.
I think that's pretty good odds.
Yeah.
People say I'm crazy, but I think it's pretty good odds.
But teach as many people as you can. Make sure you know where they are.
For sure.
The window should be.
No problem.
That's fine. The window should be clear, not hazy, but if it is, I mean, what else did he say? I didn't get to read that whole thing.
Has a question for us. A talking Epipen. So too offended. That's funny. If only it were like Siri. It does not talk back to you. It just talks to you. But it was pretty interesting. I hadn't heard of it before the meeting that we had. And the doctor was talking about how a lot of people like them because they're cheaper than the actual EpiPen, because EpiPen is a brand name.
Yeah. And I mean, you have to have a prescription, but they're
Right.
at CVS and whatnot too.
Yeah.
Walgreens.
Yeah.
Whatever your local
Pharmacy
is.
Yeah. And at any time, if you have a question, just throw it in the comments. We'll answer as well as we can, at least.
What was this other one? I started reading and then it goes away and then I started reading it again and now it's gone. Do you guys work with the
Currituck County High School FFA?
That's fun.
That is fun. So our kids went to Currituck County High School, and our daughter was an FFA, and she talked to the teacher about getting some hives for the school, and I just kind of didn't go anywhere. Yep. So I know our daughter kept bees with us here while she was here, and she
for her FFA project she what was it? She did a project here, but when the project was over, she also took some of our observation sort of equipment and educational hives to
the fair.
The fair. Yeah.
They did the FFA fair demonstration, something or other.
But if you're looking for our hives, they're at JPNet.
Yep.
So we donated 2 to our association, who's taken them over, and they set them up for the teacher out there, and yeah, they should run that.
Yes, Miss Swain. Yes, that's right.
Oh, at Kurt,
at the FFA.
Yeah. So yeah, we know Miss Swain.
We do.
We bought plants from her.
Yes.
So, what's next? You got anything else?
Sorry. Yep. Hold on. Let me see.
Let's see. I got my notes.
Yeah, you already mentioned our 13 beekeeping hacks video. If you haven't watched it yet, it came out on Saturday. We do release a premiere generally every Saturday.
Kind of like this, except we're not live. You can just discounts for senior citizens. No, I don't. So we don't have a. We're not like we small. We're small. Sideliners. That's
sideliners.
What it is.
Yeah, we're just backyard beekeepers. Yeah. We don't have a giant operation by any means. So
that's why we try and teach a little bit more, because we can do more help that way than constantly selling at a farmer's market or anything like that. So what we do is whatever products we make, we pretty much sell it to Moyock Farmers Market right down the street, or Boonies, because Kevin's cool and he sells us beer, and I like beer. And he's a fun guy to talk to.
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance to run into Boonies, and you can mention the 2 beekeepers, he knows exactly who we are. So my daughter's in her class now. She plants.
Oh, that's fun.
Some plants and all this. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. She does a great job teaching, and she really reaches the students in a way that kind of opens up their creative side.
Yeah, she was Avery's favorite teacher. Okay. I can say.
So, selling nukes. So that's funny that you say that, because we wait. Okay.
Yeah.
So you might get some of our bees if
they decide to swarm and we're not here to get them. Yeah.
Maybe over the summer.
Oh, let's hope not.
But anyway, selling nukes. So that is something that we were going to touch on. Is what we're doing right now is, if you're part of our association, you come to the meetings, you talk to us. There's a Mr. Mark that's going to visit us this week. He's buying actually 2 of our hives, because we have a lot of hives back here, but we have 3 nukes right now. 2 are ready to be sold. One is
needs
kind of my
more help.
It's my experiment box, really.
Yeah, that's true.
But all of the hives that end up in nukes are from rescues, like swarms, or something went wrong at somebody else's place, so we brought them here and trying to recoup them. But yeah, the key in North Carolina is you can sell up to 10 per year. So 10 hives, 10 nukes, 10 whatever. And
we are in northeastern North Carolina.
Mm-hmm. So if you heard of OBX, there's also
Outer Banks.
There's also a show on Netflix. not like this place, but
I didn't know that.
that's where we are. It does not look like the Outer Banks.
No.
It's like a preteen show.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
I don't know, teen, some young adult. But selling nucs. So statewide you can sell 10 a year, and what I like to do is, since we're not selling them and shipping them, and we don't need a deposit or anything, I just open it up to the association. I sell it to them cheap because they're our buddies, and
It's in Field in Charleston.
yeah. So there you go.
That's funny.
So we open it up to them, and what we do is we just have them come over, see the apiary, see what our backyard looks like, how they're set up. Because my thing is, if we're selling to the association people, they have a way that they set up their hive that may have worked and may have not worked. And I'd like to bring them over, see what's working for our bees in the exact spot they're in, and if they can simulate that, and yeah,
Or at least have a discussion.
yeah, talk about it and try and figure out like what can keep them in their apiary and what will keep them healthy and happy, because that's really what we do here, is we try and find a way to keep them healthy, and because they're healthy they'll stay happy.
Yeah.
She doesn't like getting stung. I don't know.
I don't. Let's see. Yeah, but our 13 hacks beekeeping hack video did come out on Saturday. We do generally have a premiere on Saturday, so we are live chatting with you. Obviously, not talk face to face like this.
Yeah, as you watch the video.
Face to screen like this, but as the video goes, we're right there with you. So if you have questions about it or just in general, we can answer them. And honestly, if it's a video you're not even interested in, like if I release, which I might do, is honey extracting next week, and you're like, I know how to do this, but I want to chat with Mike and Lisa, like you can just come on and chat with us. Like we're sitting there. Sometimes we're sitting there watching it by ourselves and nobody's talking, and it's just like, oh, okay.
We keep each other happy.
Yeah.
But along with that, we do that's on Sunday.
I said Saturday.
Yeah,
you're right.
But Sunday's the release, and Monday we do this live.
Yep.
We're gonna keep doing it all the time, trying to set it up more like a podcast, but we rant and tell stories, and then we talk to the folks. So I feel like it's better that way.
I think so.
We interact.
We have, so 13 beekeeping hacks. We have our upcoming video. Our next one will be extracting the honey, which we talked about. And then, if you don't know, premieres are humbling.
It can be.
Yeah, it was very different. The very first one we did, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. But I mean, of course, that's how it always is, right?
Yeah.
Until you start doing it. And now it's just like, okay.
That's YouTube as a whole. You're like, okay.
You should try it again.
Yeah, for sure. We'll attend it if we can.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like everything. You do a premiere and you're like, I have one person. Cool.
Or you're like me and I'm like, we got a person. Yeah.
How's the long laying doing?
Oh my goodness, the long laying is booming. They are going crazy. I was in the kitchen today doing some canning stuff and looked out the window and thought I had a swarm. I walked out there, not a swarm. There's just that much activity. It's insane.
There you are. We were waiting for you.
It was funny. So, hi, welcome.
But my take on the long laying, I know she likes it because there's a lot of bees and they're doing great. But I look at the woodworking craftsmanship of it, and I see a little flaws here and there, because we installed those gas pistons on the side, and all I did was cut out little sections of wood to kind of slide in there, and I thought I cut them perfect, but there's little gaps, and what they're doing now is they're climbing up and they're flying on the inside of the top. So like when you open it, there's like 30-40 bees just like, hey Mike, what are you doing opening us? And I'm like, you're supposed to be down under the
the cover boards.
The cover boards.
Yeah.
So I'll get around to cutting new pieces and slide them in there and make sure they work. But the other solution that we kind of talked about is watching some other people's, is they put a burlap all the way across and then they put the covers on top.
Yeah.
That might be easier, because then the burlap's a little more not flexible. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
flexible, but it's a better utility that way. Yeah.
We'll see.
But they
But-
are doing really well.
They're doing super well, and I like that when we do inspections, I don't have to lift anything
Just
or bend over, which is my back likes that a lot.
but if you're wondering like how many frames across they are, right now we have about 20,
Yeah,
maybe
20-ish.
19, 20 frames that are
Yeah.
pulled out that are all the way across
they've
being
got
used,
another
and they got
5 or 6
a
or
couple
so.
sprinkled in too.
Yeah, something
And
like
they're pulling it out, but some of it we like the drone comb, the green frames that we put in there,
Yeah.
we didn't wax very well, so it's
Or-
like little
yeah.
lines in some places and then nice cover in others.
that. They'll
So
get there. It's not. I'm not too worried about it. Reaching across the long lace pull frames.
so we don't really have a problem with that.
Yeah. So the only issue with ours is because the pistons are only so long, it doesn't open like really far.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to kind of like go like this and then out. We can't just like lift it straight up, like we do with our other hives. That's not really that big of a deal though.
No, but I think they just mean reaching further into the box to pick it up, and I could see that, but that hive is not hot by any means.
No.
Unless
for me,
Lisa walks close to it. Like
But
if I'm in
that's all
there,
of them.
they're fine all day. So.
But yeah. So Rick, I'm sorry if I got your name wrong.
You want me
He's
to
better
pull it
with
up?
it. Yeah, please. Sorry, I'm gonna double check.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. It's not working. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, scroll. There we go. Rat Rider. There we go. Rat Rider asked about what's the number one beekeeping mistake, and in my opinion, it's not having an integrated pest management system in place.
Okay, I could see that. So part of that integrated pest management is everything before treatment, right? So you set the bar, and once you cross the bar, you're in treatment land. You're like putting in HopGuard 2 or Formic Pro or doing oxalic acid. I've been asked a million times, hey, are you guys going to use oxalic acid this year?
No.
No, I don't.
No.
We do have Varroa, but we do so much prior to reaching that bar of treating.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll cage queens, we rotate queens, we'll take out brood, and cull it. We do a lot of stuff, and that kind of helps with swarming too. Some of those things.
Yeah.
But we never really had a big issue. I think last year when we did the sugar shake video, that was probably, or sugar roll, that was probably the worst it's been. And that was like 9 Varroa per, that was crazy. That was a lot, but we're starting to figure out like the trends in this area. So June, July, you kind of have some Varroa in there. You go into August, it's okay. Or you can knock it down and it'll be at 0. But the minute that you get like mid-September, early October, boom, no matter if you treat it at the beginning of September, you're going to get hit with like 9 or 10 Varroa.
Even if you're at zero at the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
You could be at 0.
So somebody I was listening to had mentioned that Varroa is kind of a migratory species. I'm going to have to find that, and then I'll reference it in a comment here somewhere. But it was on a podcast. I want to say it was Jamie Ellis, but I don't want to. Our sticky pads for mites and beetle oil traps tough enough to protect.
That would be part of your integrated pest management system, would not be the only thing.
Yeah, so setting it, forgetting it, especially with the beetle blasters, not a great idea.
Hi!
Michigan.
Hello to Michigan.
I used to live northern Indiana near Fort Wayne for a while. Just fun fact, I had friends all over Michigan. Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo. I went to a Kalamazoo hockey. Never mind, that's a different story.
You're going to start rambling.
But yes, so the sticky pads, we've grown out of those. Those are good if you want to check to see how much you have, but it doesn't tell you really a story at all.
It's not as accurate
either,
the counting. So it could be a good indicator if you have a high content, high Varroa mite count already.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to avoid that. So
Well, and let's explain the process real quick. So you're
Okay.
supposed to clean off your sticky board. Then you put oil or your sticky stuff on it, whatever you want to do. Set it under your hive for 3 days,
Yep.
and then pull it out and check. Now you have to root through all the debris
Yeah.
as well. So that's why we got magnifying glass in the description.
Yeah.
Shameless plug. But we have those kind of things that are in our beginner beekeeper kit because we know not everybody's going to be like us. Not everybody's going to do what we do or be in the situation we're in. So we kind of put those things in the description so you can pick and choose what you want. But you're supposed to put it under there, pull it out, count, each box, and then you do your calculation and you find out, oh, I got, 1 per 100 or, whatever.
Or hopefully not more than that.
Yeah. Because it used to be 3 when we started and that was fine. And now it's down to 1 and it's like, let's just eradicate the damn thing. Or darn, shoot. Can't curse.
Anyway, so that would be part of your IPM, your integrated pest management system. I don't think it should be the only thing, but that could be part of it. Yes, we do not use them anymore because we would rather do a sugar shake or sugar roll because we feel like it's a more accurate number count because the Varroa will actually stick onto the underside. I'm using my hand, you can't see it. Will stick actually to the underside of the honeybee. So they're not really falling off unless the rest of the bees in the hive are super cleaners and just
hygienic.
Really hygienic bees. So
but we use the beetle traps.
Yeah.
And the reason I say don't put them in and forget them, check them, every 2 to 3 weeks and just make sure the bees haven't dropped a whole bunch of stuff in there. Like they're supposed to, the hive beetle goes in, doesn't come out. We put oil in ours. Sometimes it,
yes, exactly.
I know, right? Sometimes it mixes with the debris and turns into something else. And that's when you pull it out. It's almost like a plasma. You just pull it out, put something else in there. Yeah. But, so the better beetle traps or
better beetle blasters are what we use to combat our small hive beetles.
So we put that in. It's in the description. Those are good. As far as Varroa goes, like we just try and use the brood break just to keep their numbers low.
Yeah.
That if you can find different ways of doing brood breaks, you
or splits. If you need to do that, which is especially helpful if you're trying to expand your apiary, if you want some more hives.
Well, splits helps one hive and not really the other.
True, unless you do it with like all of them.
Yeah, a lot of people replace queens. I'm not in the habit of doing that unless I'm making queens, and this year I'm trying all different ways to make queens besides having them make their own. And them making their own, we can do that every day. Yeah. That's so easy to do. Oh my goodness, you can make your own there and then deal with all the problems that come with it. But if we can graft or use the Nico or whatever else we can do besides buying them, I don't see the need to buy bees. I can sell bees, but I don't
want to buy them anymore.
Packages on packages on packages.
Nope. Yep. So we have videos, and if you have, how long after receiving a nuke can someone usually do a split? Oh, for a nuke, I would not do a split with a nuke. I would wait until the colony is strong.
Well, wait a second. Let's think about this. So if you got a nuke and you're running nukes and you're not trying to split it into an 8 frame or anything like that, if you were trying to expand your nuke, say take the frames out of the nuke and put it in an 8 frame, okay, but that's not really a split. We're talking about you leave some bees in the nuke and you're putting some of the bees from that nuke someplace else. I mean, you could do a nuke to nuke. So if you got,
that's true.
If you have a 5 frame or even a 4 frame would probably work better. But you could take, if they're a huge population, take 2 frames out, pick one resource, one.
It would need to be uncapped. Like very, very young larva.
Move that over, then add two frames that are, doesn't have anything on them, foundationless or
if you have drawn comb already, that's empty.
Yeah, the drawn comb, you can do that all day.
That's very
Not
true.
all
Not all
nukes
nukes
are-
are created
Yeah.
equal. That's 100% true.
And I can tell you, I build some and I try and stack them on top of each other, and they're slightly different sizes. So,
Yeah, we're not master craftsmen over here, but
I'm getting there. But I wonder what camp some people are in. Are you in the camp where your frames fit perfectly in the box, where they're snug up against the wall, or do you like that little bit of a gap between the wall and the frame? Because I like the little bit of a gap. You can move the frames around a little bit easier. But some of our 10 frames are like, you put 9 frames in, and that 10th frame, you're pushing and pushing and pushing to get it down in there. So.
I really have to move the two, split 2 miles away to keep it from turning. So we used to do that. We do not anymore, and we haven't had problems with it.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that for now.
It really depends on how you do the split.
Yes.
At the end of the day, there are going to be forager bees that go back. But when you're picking your frames out and you're picking ones that have nurse bees, so anything with open, larvae or eggs, those bees are going to stay. They won't even fly off. Yeah. Like, they'll just hang out. If you knock them to the ground, you see them walking around. They're if you want to identify them a little bit better, we're not talking about the ones that look like Wookiees. I don't know if we're Star Wars people, but or like Ewoks. That's still Star Wars. Like little doggies. They got hair all over their face and near their eyes and everything. Those are a little too young, but they'll still stay. When you're looking at nurse bees, they don't quite have the top of the thorax still has some hair, but there's starting to be that dot that's forming from the hair falling off. That's how I identify them. Plus, you can mess with them and they won't fly off. They just kind of walk away. So.
Maybe that's what I said. If it is really strong, probably. Okay, yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So nukes are a little more difficult just because you have less to choose from.
Yeah.
When you have bigger hives, if you had a double nuke, that's easy. You just take the top box off, you walk away with it, and you make sure the frames are right.
Yeah.
So, and by that I mean, if you take off a whole honey, all their stores, they're not going to make a queen because it's pollen and
Yeah.
But she's smart, so they'll figure it out. Swarm said.
Let me see what else. Oh, yeah. So we do kind of going back a little bit. Yeah, we're doing the premiere every Sunday, doing the live chat every Monday night. That's the plan. We don't plan on stopping that anytime soon. But also, if you're not familiar, we have a website, rascalapiary.com, where we put out a blog post every Saturday, and we're following the North Carolina State Beekeepers Association Master Beekeeper program. Mm-hmm. So I'm breaking down from certified all the way through, I think I'm about a quarter of the way into the Journeyman program right now. And I'm answering basically all through the study guide.
I want to be able to read that whole thing and answer it.
Okay.
So you're doing fine. Keep going.
Yeah. So last week I covered Africanized versus European honeybees. This week, or this Saturday, this past Saturday, it was about beekeeping activities. So like doing splits or feeding your colonies or things like that. Next week, this coming Saturday, it will be beekeeping equipment. So you can look forward to that if you're interested.
So, the Bees and Chicken from Ohio is with us. They like having that little bit of space.
Awesome.
And Jamie asked, should she, like her family owns a cabinet company, should they just make their own, hives, or should they try and buy from a company?
Oh.
I personally would say, if you're going to build your own, buy one that you really like from a beekeeping company, and then once you get the dimensions and you actually physically have it and you're like, I like the feel of this, I like the way it looks, or if you could just walk into one of the stores and take a look. There are beekeeping stores all over.
Or if you have beekeeping friends that you can go check out their hives and say, I like this one, I don't like that one. Because, for example, we have found out that we like the handles that like jut out.
Yeah.
So Mike typically is, Mike is typically the one lifting the boxes, and we have most of our hives have the what do you call it, like concave handle, so it like goes into the wood.
Mhm.
And you gonna sneeze again?
I'm thinking about it. There we go.
But we found out he doesn't really like those. He doesn't feel like he gets a good enough grip on it. So we have basically all of the hives that we've built from then on
Have handles
like
that I
exterior
put on.
handles that
Yeah.
are like
So
grippy.
the thing about the inset handles is number one, we're taking away some wood, which okay, it's minor, but my fingertips are what's doing most of the lifting, and on some of them you can really get in there, and others it's just like maybe a fraction of my fingertip, and I'm holding 90-pound boxes of bees that once they hit the ground, they're crawling up my legs, and I don't know. That the end of that story seems like it's going to be terrible. So, I've been putting handles on the outside that jut out a little bit, and I get a much better grip. I can get at least 2 knuckles in, and we're good to go. So, well, maybe not that far. That's a little exaggerated, but it's a lot. Yeah.
Oh, and the website. We also did another little update. So we talked about before adding our broodminder data to the website, and we have done that. So if you are interested in seeing how our hives are doing, you can go to the website and click on the broodminder data and check it out.
Yep. So
This handle snap off.
I'm gonna say you're welcome to Jamie, and then yeah, the handle snapping off, that is a real thing, and with the handles being on the outside like that, you have screws holding it. What was the other one? The other
Rascal has been stung.
Yeah, so I've been going back and forth with, do we make a video about having pets around your beehives, or chickens, or whatever else you got going on. If you got ducks, holy moly, they'll eat the bees like right out of the air.
Oh, chickens will too.
Yeah.
Just not as often.
Well, yeah, our chickens, they have a mutual respect for each other, I think.
Yeah.
Every now and then one will chase the chickens around, and the chicken doesn't try and eat it. She just runs.
Yeah.
But Rascal has been stung. He's been stung in between the paws, which is very, very difficult to try and assist him, because he's not a crybaby. If he's hurt, he will show that he's hurt, and he will let you be hurt with him if he needs to. So,
and he has a thing about his paws. He doesn't like people touching his paws.
yeah. So even how you can take a dog, and if they're sleeping or just laying upside down, you can tickle in between their paws. Not Rascal. No. You can try, not like I can, but like anybody else, no. It's not happening. So he doesn't like that, and he's been stung on the face before
once,
and that's all she wrote.
Yeah.
He didn't swell up too bad, but he did swell a little bit, and he looked goofy.
He did,
but he didn't have any reactions, and he just looked sad for a little bit.
Yeah. But he doesn't typically go back by the hives.
So he used to. We set up an invisible fence for him, and we actually don't use the collar. He just knows where the line is now, and he stays within the line unless I invite. If I invite him back, he'll come back.
2 dogs, chickens, and goats.
Goats would be interesting. I wonder if goats would rub up against the hives, because I know.
Or stand up on top of them.
Yeah, depending on where you are, you might have bears too that come by after they learn.
They're dumping rich.
Yeah, but it depends which side you're on.
Oh, fair. That's true.
Like on the other side of our road is coyotes. They don't. Yeah. Actually, that's not true. There's year, our trail cam spotted one coyote, but he's not. It's not his territory because he's not making the rounds every night.
We see more raccoons and possums.
Mm-hmm. Raccoons, possums, and our barn cat.
Yeah, yeah. And I know there definitely are black bears in the area. We haven't seen any in our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. And the advice we got a long time ago was pretty simple. Buy an electric fence. It doesn't have to be. That's out.
That's
a
thing, but it's we're okay. So we are in like Outer Banks, but we're not like right there.
Yeah, we're
a little further in.
But
we have foxes too.
So we might have a fox too. We still haven't caught her on camera.
I've seen her when I'm going to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's Rascal. So our neighbor kept saying, "Oh, there's a fox in your backyard." It was just Rascal the whole time, but she's a couple houses down, and they have chickens and ducks and everything.
They are sly. That's true.
But what was I saying? Oh, bears. So
Bears.
get a
Fences.
cheapo electric fence that, if you're concerned about it, not after the bear has already taken over your hive area, your apiary, but beforehand. Set up your fence around your apiary, hang some bacon, just raw bacon on there, and what the bears will do is they'll come up and sniff it, and when they get zapped, they choose not to ever enter your area again. That's the advice we got. Haven't used it yet, but
That's what I was gonna say. We haven't tried it, but we have heard that it works.
and we do have an electric fence. We just had no need to use it because our geographical area is kind of like it's hard for a bear to get even to our backyard.
Yeah.
But some of the things I wanted to talk about. Coyotes. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the new houses that they're building, I saw some coyotes over there too.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's where they used to be all the time because we used to hear and
Surprised
yipping
me.
and yapping. But
Yeah.
our side of the road, we have so many people that leave dogs out at night and whatnot. Raccoons. The only thing we had with raccoons was one of them tore up one of our bottom boards.
Oh yeah.
But like the bees weren't even phased, and
Not at all.
it's almost like they took a chunk out of the middle of the front. So I switched our bottom boards so that they're hardwood.
So we had plywood bottom boards initially when we switched from screen to solid bottom boards, and it was like the raccoon was trying to maybe reach into the hive to get some bees, and just like was so fat that when it stepped, it just kind of like collapsed.
Yeah.
The front of the in front of the hive.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But-
I'm not sure, but
But our trail cam hasn't
really
caught.
had any.
They haven't caught any raccoons like sitting on top or really
No.
messing with the hive. That was
No.
the middle of winter,
Yeah.
where things are starving.
Right.
Especially raccoons.
Yeah.
But yep.
No.
Let's see. Oh, that's what I was going to talk about. So, installing packages. At our beekeeping meeting, they were talking about installing packages, and I just want to throw it out that in our community post, if you go through them all, like we have on YouTube community post, we got polls, which are basically study questions. If you want to take the poll or do some research on the question, and then and that should help with like Master Beekeeper if you want to do that. Then I post some random things here and there. I post her articles, and then there is one where I posted for the Bee and the Blossom their video on how to install a package because I wasn't going to go out and buy a package this year just to make a video. So I picked somebody else's video that did a really good job, and that's what I posted in the community. So if you want to scroll back, it's from Bee and the Blossom. I think they only have like 5 or 6 videos, but they're all really well done, and the way that they install and do things, I kind of jive with. So endorsement. Oh, I do want to say that our Facebook group for not Rascal Apiary, but our Beekeeping Association, I did not know this until they made me an admin, was if your association has a Facebook group, you can actually start up a membership program, or not membership, a mentorship program.
Yeah.
So if you want to be mentored by somebody or you want to be a mentor, you can actually connect with them in the group, and they can set it where it's only group members, and that way it's a little easier for people to reach out and connect with each other if you don't have time when you're at the meeting, or during COVID you can't. It's easier to just, like, I have 2 right now that they just hit me up with questions every now and then. I share some pictures, they share some pictures.
Yep.
That way I can't get into their hives right now, but later on, if we're able to hook up, I'll be able to help them a little more hands-on. But right now it's basically filling some of that knowledge gap that they need or want.
Same. I have a mentee now, and she does the same thing. So she'll send me a message on Facebook Messenger because it's through the Facebook mentorship program, and
The Facebook.
the Facebooks.
We're getting old.
Yeah, so she'll send me messages and be like, "Hey, what do you think about this? Am I doing this right?" Or she'll send me a picture and like, "Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Like, this is what I think I see." And yeah, it's worked out so far. So, and I think she might be joining our association also.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So
Yeah.
she's not yet.
Yeah, and we're actually starting up in-person meetings, which is kind of cool. So it's nice to see people again.
During brood meal, yeah.
We're going to, and we'll get back to you.
Maybe we'll have to make a
what it
video
tastes.
about that.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I know it's a delicacy in one of the other countries. I don't think it's really going to take off here, but we'll give it a try.
Yeah, we're gonna try. But have a good night. Thank you for joining.
Speaking of seeing things, so we put out like some queen spotting pictures every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a Miss Amber that likes, what she likes to do is she looks at the picture and then she's not really sure if it's a queen or not. So she'll take it, she'll circle it, and then she shoots it back to me or Lisa and just says, "Hey, is this it?" So if you guys see some of that and you want to just grab the picture, circle what you think is right, and then email us, we appreciate that. Like that gives us some interaction. We like it. And then we had a Mr. Rawson that shared his long hive setup. So I don't know if he saw what we did and wanted to also try one, but he does have a long hive now that's sitting next to, I wrote down, 5 other Langstroth hives. And he does have 2 of the flow hives. And I wanted to give you an update because I don't know if you've been out there, but in the last couple of days, I've been peeking in the side window and
of the flow hive.
Mm-hmm. And the nectar's getting closer and closer to being done.
Okay.
And then when you look in the end to see across, those are all starting to fill up. So two days ago, we didn't have the tulip poplar blossoming. Now we kind of do. It's like the very beginning.
It's starting.
And they're already starting to fill in nectar. So I'm pretty excited about that. We typically can pull 1 or 2 frames of that because up here, it's hit or miss if they're really going to work it hard or if they're not. But it looks like this year might be good. Man. Unless we trap the queen in the top, and what they're doing is moving all the honey to the outside, and she's just laying like crazy in there. So
let's hope not. So we did put the queen excluder in.
We did because
there was some brood.
Last time we did see some eggs, and we were like, "What?"
Yeah.
So we checked all the frames twice, made sure there wasn't a queen, and then we put the queen excluder. But
you never know.
It's hit or miss.
You may miss her.
That hive we call it the Hulk hive.
Yeah.
It is big.
Yeah.
It's like I'm surprised there's no swarm cells or super seizure or anything in there because they have so many bees.
Yeah.
I mean,
they really do.
Yeah. And then really awesome. The Goddess in the Greek homestead.
Goddess in the geek.
Geek. I always say Greek.
Yeah.
Goddess in the, because goddess is like Greek, but Goddess in the Geek homestead. So last year they asked us to make a video on how we build our swarm buckets. So it's easy, you have this bucket that's nice. It's got some vents on it. You put a paint pole attached to it, and you can just knock them against the limb that has your bees on them that swarmed, and they just fall in the bucket. You bring it down, you put the cap on, and then any bees that are floating around, they go in because you got the queen on the first try, because that always happens. And and then they're in the bucket, and you just let them sit there. Well, they went ahead and built one and then posted their action on Facebook saying, "Hey, we built this based off of what Rascal Apiary showed us, and we caught our first swarm with the swarm bucket." So they shared it, and I finally saw it. It took me a week before I realized they had mentioned us, but it's pretty awesome. I mean,
we actually helped somebody.
We made it. We made it. Yeah.
It's exciting. And then you asked about the Warray hive. It was not a swarm that we put in the Warray hive. That hive we've had this is the second year, right?
Yeah.
This is year 2 for that hive. They came out of winter really strong, and they are just doing amazing things.
So that hive is
swarmed a couple of times now.
Yeah, we were apprehensive about it.
Oh, the Hulk hive.
No.
The Hulk hive is an 8-frame Langstroth hive.
Yep, and it's got the flow super on top.
Yeah.
So.
Our Warray hive is called Posh. It's the Posh hive.
Mm-hmm. And it's got a proper sign now.
It does.
So
all of our hives have signs that have the name on them.
But the Warray is kind of interesting because you get into it and it feels like it's the size of a Langstroth with the amount of bees and every little thing that you have to do. But when you step away, you're like, this is a quarter of the size of your Langstroth. And I'm like, why was it so difficult? And well, difficult the first time. Once you start cutting the comb and you get them set up where they're not building out to the walls, then it's easy.
Or attaching it on the wall.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, that's
like if they get it to the wall, cool. But if they attach it to the wall, you gotta get in there and cut before you pull out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they do extremely well. They end up filling each of the boxes really quickly.
Yeah.
And that's something that we're gonna have to look at a little closer next year and get a process down for them because. If they keep surviving the way they're doing, and what we're going to do is probably hop guard 2 in there if it comes down to a having to treat situation, just because the way that the hop guard hangs in there, it's basically like take a strip of cardboard and then they soak it in this stuff and then it's like ooze.
Hop beta acid.
Hop beta acid or ooze.
It smells like beer.
It does. It smells really good. We are growing hops in the backyard too, so if I could figure out how to make that stuff, I'd just make it.
Not happening. But anyway, yeah. Do you have anything else? Or?
What else? Swarm calls. So if you guys are part of an association or you're part of like the BOA, and you get on the swarm call list, feel free to reach out to us. Especially if you're in this area, we'll come out with you and show you what we would do, or we'll just guide you through the process and make you do it, and we'll sit back with some lemonade and watch it. But we'll help you out. If you need to, like somehow send us an email and pictures and be like, what would you do with this? We typically respond within like an hour or two.
Unless we're both at work at the same time.
Yeah, that can be difficult.
We do what we can.
But yep. Or if you want to video what you did and said, hey, what did I do wrong? I mean, hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah.
So, but we're more than happy to help because that's something that new beekeepers seem to be very apprehensive about is, what if my hives swarm? I'm just going to let it happen because I don't know what to do. And I mean, why would you let them fly away?
Free money.
Well, yeah, if you catch it, you can sell them, up to 10.
Or that's just bees that you don't have to buy if you're trying to expand your apiary.
Mm-hmm. Or give it to your friends.
Or give it to your friends.
At Rascal
That's
Apiary.
a great present.
Yeah.
Hey, happy birthday! Here's some bees.
Just put the bucket in the car with it open just a little bit, and then when they get in the car, like at 3 a.m. to go to work, they're like,
don't do that. Please don't do that. He's joking. Don't do that.
I mess with people all the time.
Yeah.
But we really appreciate all the interaction and the questions, and we hope
hope we answered all of your questions. And if we didn't, please let us know. We will as soon as we see the comment or email.
And if we ramble too much, just let us know.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I like talking about bees. So I talk about bees all day at work. Anytime somebody brings it up. Otherwise, zip.
Sure.
Tight lips. So, all right. Well, you guys have a good night. It's been 1 hour and 18 minutes and 32 seconds. So.
And I have to go to bed. Good night.
Good night. Woo.